Stephanie Anderson. I'm the CEO here at Recovery Centers of America at Indianapolis, and I wanted to welcome all of you here. I'm so excited that we finally got to do an in-person event to show off our amazing facility. But I want to tell you a little bit of a backstory about this facility and all of the people here that made it happen. I returned to Indiana about 14 years ago. Very green, social worker with my cape on that wanted to save the world, and very quickly became disenfranchised and disheartened. I didn't see the type of resources for the people that I served in front of me. And so I kept working my way into these positions that I had no business working my way into, thinking that I would save the world, not knowing that there were lots of us here in Indiana that were feeling the same way. People like Steve McCaffrey, people like Diana Williams and Dr. Cook, our medical director and our clinical director, people like Doug and Lieutenant Governor Crouch, and so many others of you in this room, Justin Phillips, who were also feeling that same way. And we're also coming together to build a community, individual in their own towns, to make a better way for people who have addiction. And here I sit totally humbled and a little emotional, looking at so many people that I've met along the way and how far we've come in Indiana to this building, to this space, and to what we offer here. This building as a physical space is beautiful, right? We can all look around and see how absolutely incredible it is. And we do that on purpose, not because we're some high-end treatment facility that only the elitists can get into. We do that because from the moment somebody walks in the door, we want them to know that you deserve more, that your recovery is important, that your physical body is important, and we will go to the end of the earth to make that happen. And it starts with what you feel around you. A little bit about our owner and our chief executive officer for all of Recovery Centers of America. He too, at that same time, was feeling the same thing that I was feeling, that I'm probably guessing many of you in this room can empathize with. He owned a construction company, and he said, I have a lot of guys in this company that need treatment, but I have nowhere to send them. So he was sending them to Florida, and he was sending them to California. And one day he said, no more. My people need to be able to recover in their community. They need to be able to access these same quality care services that treat the whole person around their family. And so Recovery Centers of America was born, and since then has grown. I'm very blessed and honored to be named the CEO of the Indianapolis site, to have the privilege of working with the team here in Indianapolis to make this facility amazing. We can go into all the logistics. We offer 112 beds. We offer inpatient and outpatient treatment. I can give you all of that information, but at the end of the day, what we really do, we provide hope. We provide recovery. So we didn't get to do our grand open house when we took our first patient in December. I will tell you that poor first patient, we were fully staffed with one patient, and that person got lots of attention. We were so excited, and the excitement doesn't stop. We just have a group of people here in Indianapolis that truly care and love recovery and love our people. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce some of those to you today, and also some of our special guests that have come to speak with us. So first I want to introduce to you Dr. Will Cook. Dr. Cook is our medical director here in Indianapolis, and he's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate your support. And the reason I'm here is because I believe in the model of care, that it's a continuum of care that's really putting the patient at the center. And we don't really think of this so much as treatment, but surrounding somebody with the care that they need to stabilize, and then to build the tools and resources that they need to be successful navigating life. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is how much life you have access to. And we know that nationally, our life expectancy is falling for the first time ever, 3 years in a row. And during the COVID pandemic, it's gotten even worse. And we also know that one of the drivers of that is addiction. And so by reconnecting people with purpose and meaning in their life and giving them the tools and the resources to live more fulfilled life, we're decreasing mortality, we're increasing vitality, and we're making families and communities stronger. So that's the reason that I'm here, is I believe in that with all of my heart. And I think that we can make a difference in Indiana by addressing those things. So medically, we're able to handle full detox. This is a hospital. We do acute hospitalization, stabilization for a chronic relapsing condition, whether that's alcohol or opioid use or meth, stimulants, whatever that may look like for that person. We want to surround them with the care that they need to stabilize and then start building those resources to do better. So we can do that in an acute detox through alcohol, benzos, opioids, and then give them the tools that they need again, surrounding them with great clinical care, start some therapy, get in some groups so that they don't feel so alone and start learning from one another. And then we have a few weeks to start working with them to see if there's any underlying psychiatric issues or medical issues that's leading them back to substances. Oftentimes people are self-medicating by drinking or by using a substance. And if we can stabilize them medically while they're here, they're going to be more successful going forward. And we know that by providing people with medication-assisted treatment, we're reducing their risk from overdosing and dying. The worst thing that we can imagine is somebody detox from their drug of choice and go out without any support. The continuum, we have outpatient support as well. We link people with outpatient care and provide medication assistance. Because the worst thing that we can imagine is somebody go out in that situation, not feel supported, relapse, and overdose and die. We want to increase life, not put people at a greater risk, ultimately. So I'll be here if you have any questions. I'm happy to meet with you, answer those questions, and I appreciate the roles that you all play in this greater continuum of care when it comes to harm reduction from substance use treatment and just providing patient-centered care across the state. So I appreciate your all's work in that as well.
Next, I'm going to introduce somebody that's really not a stranger to most of you in this room. Diana Williams has been a force to be reckoned with in the addiction world for the last 30 years in Indiana, and it's my honor to introduce her as our clinical director here at Recovery Centers of America in Indianapolis.
Good afternoon. Happy Recovery Month. Oh, I guess I should take my mask off. Happy Recovery Month. I'm glad you're here. As I get older, I need notes, so just be patient. Right. I am Diana Williams. I'm the clinical director working with people, families, and dealing with SUD issues for the last 30 years. And I've been in Indiana, and I've been with the feds in Washington, D.C., and I've been in each state across the union, sharing what we learn about and how to treat the people that we love. Because of my longevity, don't see, I said longevity, not old age. I see many old friends and many new friends, and I'm so grateful to all of you. The importance of all of us being here, and the reason I bring up those friendships, is that connectivity that we all share and have all been touched somehow by this disease. Whether it's a friend, family member, somebody else's friend or family member, we all become a part of that support because of our love for the people. I know that, I'm sorry, lost my place. Does that happen when you're at church? The minister says, wait, lost my place. There are so many wonderful people that we have the opportunity to work with. I know that they come with trials and obstacles, And we hope that RCA is that soft place to land so that folks can start to rebuild and do things, the next right thing for themselves and build their families. Our programs, to talk about that a little bit is, every place you go has programs that they've developed. One of the things I want you to hear about RCA is that we develop whatever the patient needs. We're going to develop for each individual what it is that's going to make sense for them. Yes, I have programs to tell you about. Yes, we do a program for people that have relapsed several times, people that re-engage with substances. We have a program for people who have trauma, and we don't see any patients that don't have trauma. So just about everybody can benefit from that kind of care. We have programming for women and for men separately, and then we do some things together, just like life. You got to deal with the other people that are in your life. We have a specific unit designed for the LGBTQ population. We're very excited about that. Let me say it again, because I don't think people know enough about it. RCA has a unit and a program and a curriculum specifically designed to work with the LGBTQ community. Please tell your friends. This is very near and dear to my heart. It's very important. And we've been able to have some folks that have come and been with us in that program, but I want it to get out. I want people to know. So please share the word. We also have what we call our rescue unit, which is for our first responders, for people that have seen a lot of trauma, for folks who are helping others and in the meantime haven't been able to really take care of themselves. So we help them to rebuild and to know how important they are in our lives. Each person's needs are addressed as the individual that they are. Their uniqueness is important to us. We understand that each person is someone's mom, sister, aunt, uncle, son, daughter, grandma, and grandpa. And I'll tell you what, if it was my grandma and grandpa, you better be treating them well. So that's our philosophy. If we know and remember that these people are people and they're loved by someone, then we're going to take care of them because we love them too. And it's very important for us, for people to know they're loved and cared about, because when they come to us, they're not feeling any of that. So hopefully that's something that RCA brings to them that they haven't had in a while. I'm very honored to be here. I'm happy to answer any of your questions, meet with you after, and I'm so grateful that you all came to visit. Thank you.
Next, in rounding out the RCA speakers, I have Rhodenbusch. She is our Director of Alumni Services.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Stephanie and Diana and the team, for inviting me to share a little bit of my heart today. I just really feel like I have the best job at RCA. I really do. I get to work with alumni, and we start that by having an Alumni Coordinator at each and every site that meets patients on day one and continues them through their journey while they're with us at RCA and then after they leave us. We develop a whole host of group meetings, events, outings, services, opportunities to mentor both other patients and then other alums. It's just a whole network that we develop through the Alumni Association. There is literally something going on every single day at RCA Alumni Association. There are groups virtually that meet, and these people develop community. I've had more than one alumni tell me that when they're having a rough day, that they will just drive through our parking lot to experience the peace and the connection that they felt while they were here. And as it said, the opposite of addiction is connection, not sobriety. And I think that is our goal with the RCA Alumni Association, whether they're here with us one day or they go through our full continuum of care, that they feel like they have a place with which they're connected and a community, an active, sober community to be a part of. I wanted to leave you with a little something that an alumni shared on one of our Facebook groups for RCA alums the other day. And I just thought that it summed up our core purpose and what we want to achieve as an alumni association. She said, or she copied and pasted on this site, "When a flashlight grows dim or quits working, do you just throw it away? Of course not. You change the batteries. When a person messes up or finds themselves in a dark place, do you cast them aside? Of course not. You help them change their batteries. Some need AA's, attention and affirmation. Some need AAA's, attention, affirmation, and acceptance. Some need C's, compassion, and some need D's, direction. And if they still don't seem to shine, simply sit with them quietly and share your own light. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting every one of you.
Thank you, Jay. That was beautiful. I am now going to introduce one of our special guests, and I'm really excited to introduce him. I would call him a friend, but also an advocate for recovery here in Indiana, and one that I would also say has been a force to be reckoned with, but not for 30 years yet. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Indiana's drug czar, Doug Hunsinger.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. And RCA is really well served by your leadership. And we're sad that you left us. You were doing some great things for us, but there's a great team there that's continuing your work. So I had the pleasure of touring this facility earlier this summer, and I was really impressed by RCA's ability to bring new life into the building. And it's really symbolic of the services that they provide, helping Hoosiers with substance use disorder get back on their feet and on the road to recovery. And you know, on day one of his administration, Governor Holcomb has made combating the drug epidemic his top priority and has called for an all-hands-on-deck approach to help in the fight. And since then, we've worked hard to build an infrastructure that cares for the whole patient, not just for the next 6 months, or for the next year, but throughout their lifelong journey. And RCA is really a critical piece of that infrastructure. They're providing another avenue for Hoosiers really seeking to take that first step in their recovery journey. So thank you to RCA for investing in Indianapolis and for your mission to provide accessible, evidence-based treatment for individuals with substance use disorder. So thank you. And now it is my pleasure, and second time this week already, to introduce our Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch. She has been committed throughout her entire career to provide programs and services for people with disabilities. And now as Governor Holcomb's partner and our Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch is a tireless advocate for those with mental health and substance use disorders. And I couldn't be more pleased to have her here with us today. So without further ado, our Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you all for the invitation to join you today. You know, it kind of struck me when Stephanie shared that 14 years ago you came back to Indiana with your cape on and ready to make a difference. And I suspect you have. But what struck me is 14 years ago, we received a call that our daughter was an alcoholic and an addict. And there was nowhere in Indiana to take her. So she went to Minnesota, and then she went to Florida. I'm happy to say that she's sober 14 years later, but it drives home the point that there is nowhere at that time to be able to provide the continuum of care and to be able to integrate the family into that process, which is absolutely key. And I think that's what I'm most proud of today, is to be able to be here to celebrate that kind of accomplishment that we have here in Indiana because of Recovery Centers of America. But I also want to say we were blessed that we had the resources to get her the help that she needed and continue that help throughout her life. But there are many in this state and this country who do not have those resources. And they're the ones that we need to be focused on how we can help them also. And I know that you do that, and because you shared with me that you have programs free of charge for individuals that seek help and don't have the resources to pay for it. So as we continue this journey together, and Doug mentioned that it is an all-hands-on-deck approach, it's going to take all of us to be able to provide the help and the assistance to every Hoosier that seeks that help and assistance, and to the families that are part of that process. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way over the past 14 years because now we do have a place where Hoosiers can go and families can be a part of the process. And that's quite honestly why I'm proud to be here today, to be able to celebrate the investment that Recovery Centers of America have made in Indiana. And I think that lights a bright future for our state and for Hoosiers. But thank you all for caring enough to be a part of that process. I shared with Governor Holcomb that after this election, we had a conversation about what we wanted to focus on over the next 4 years, above and beyond our normal duties and responsibilities. And I told him for me it was mental health and addiction, because the human cost of this pandemic is huge, and it's going to exponentially grow in years to come. Not just the cost to our families, but the cost to our budgets, whether we're in the public or the private sector. Before COVID, 1 out of 5 Hoosiers struggled with addiction and mental health. And we all know someone that has faced those challenges. That's why we're here, quite honestly. And my family's no exception. I share with you our journey with our daughter, but my mother suffered from depression. My sister committed suicide. My brother's an alcoholic. So those Hoosiers, in fact, my daughter said she got the crappy genes in the family. And I said, it's not the hand you're dealt, it's how you play it that is important. And we have a responsibility to help Hoosiers play their hand to the best of their ability. So that is why we are all here. And that is why I am so proud that Recovery Centers of America has chosen to invest in Indiana and to be a part of helping us solve that problem, and that in enabling those Hoosiers, regardless of what genes they inherited, to be able to be successful, productive members of our state. So thank you all for the opportunity to be here to help you celebrate what is truly a celebration. So thank you.
I am significantly shorter. Thank you so much for those remarks. What would a celebration be without a ceremonial ribbon cutting? We've chosen to do a different type of ribbon cutting this year because we've really been open since December, and we missed our opportunity to do the big red ribbon. So we chose a purple one because it's Recovery Month. And so today we are going to cut a ribbon as our grand opening, but really as a symbolic representation of recovery in Indiana, the barriers that we're tearing down to accessing to recovery and to reducing stigma. I'd like to invite all of you who spoke today, including the Lieutenant Governor, to join us in this ceremonial step. And here's to recovery. So thank you all for attending. Please help yourself. We still have lots of food available, beverages, and tours available for anybody. I'm absolutely here to answer questions, as are many members of the team. So thank you so much for coming today on this beautiful first day of Indiana fall. Thank you so much.